Hey guys, I'm Mark Kenyon, the host of the Wired to Hunt podcast and MeatEater's resident whitetail guy. And today I wanted to give you a little bit of perspective on First Lite's brand new whitetail system, something that I had the good privilege of being intimately involved in over the last 3-4 years. There's a lot to talk about. There's been a number of common questions about this stuff. I want to tackle those and share with you some of the things that I'm personally most excited about. So the new whitetail system is comprised of 3 kits. That's a jacket bib combo: the phase, the core, and the thermic. Now these 3 kits all have different fabric packages, making them suitable for different temperature ranges, but they have the exact same set of features. So the phase is more of a milder temperature kit. Personally, I'm wearing that from 60 to mid 40s is like the optimal range, but this is like an outer shell. It's a soft shell. You can layer beneath it as much as you want. So if you own the phase, you could actually take it into much colder temperatures if you layered appropriately underneath. The core is ideally suited for that peak of the whitetail season. We're thinking, mid-November, 35 degrees and windy. It's great. I personally wear it in this temperature of like mid 40s down to the teens. That was my personal window. But again, if you own that and you're using it, you could take it down to 0 or beyond. And if you keep it very light up top, very minimal base layers, into the upper 40s, you'll be okay. And then finally, the thermic is for the coldest of the cold, the Arctic tundra deer hunter, northern, North Dakota on January 1st when it's -10 and 40 miles an hour. The thermic will be your piece. It's dedicated. It is very specifically made to the gnarliest of winter weather and keeping you warm. All right, now I got to be honest with you. The kit that I used for the last 3, 4, 5 years, the Solitude, that is a damn good set of whitetail outerwear that served me very well in the field. That said, there were a number of things that myself and folks like Levi noticed that we wished were a little bit different, or we wish we had a different fabric here or a different feature set here, because we're not going out there and hunting just a few weekends a year. We are hunting day after day after day. Again, every little thing matters. When you're trying to kill a mature buck, you simply need to care about the little things. And we felt the same way about this gear. So a few things stand out to me about the new stuff that makes it the absolute best choice for me. For example, a brand new kit link system. On the old Solitude stuff, this idea of the kit link was a great idea. You can have a way to keep your hands warm without needing to wear big, bulky gloves. As a bow hunter, I don't want my fingers inaccessible. So the idea with the original kit link was to unzip 2 zippers here, reach into your jacket, and put your hands into a kangaroo hand warming pocket. Great idea in theory. The problem was with those zippers, you would have openings once you put your hand in there where cold air could enter your core or your warm air exit. I got to thinking, man, there's got to be a way to form almost a gasket. And what the incredible design team figured out was that you could do something like that with a set of magnets. So we now have a way you can slip your hand in without any need to zip or have a second hand. One single hand can just go in here, slip in with the magnets, and then the magnets seal up around your hand, keeping your warm air in and the cold air out. So it's a kit link system you actually want to use. A second thing that a lot of people had concerns with the previous kit was the collar. The collar was purposefully tall to protect you from wind and cold. The problem was, though, for bow hunters, when you draw back, that tall collar would sometimes interfere with your anchor point. We decided to go back to the drawing board on that and think through how can we adjust the collar to still keep you warm but not mess with your archery. What we developed was a shooter's cut. Basically a still tall and protective collar in the back, but a tapered down collar in the front to allow you to anchor as necessary. Number 3, we changed the fabric packages across the board to achieve different things. So with this piece right here, the core, I need something that's going to keep me very, very warm and very comfortable during that rut time frame, right? But at the same time, I need to go hiking in deep every morning at 3 in the morning, climbing up into a new tree, and I don't want to be wearing a big, heavy piece of clothing when I hike in there. I'm going to pack it in. So I want something that's packable, something that can stuff down in my backpack and be okay for a mile trek back there. So with the new outer fabric and the new insulation, we have something that's more packable, but actually warmer. And new outer fabric that's just as tough as the old stuff, but quieter. So again, these small tweaks, these small improvements, all these 1% adjustments that stack up to make it better. And every little 1%, every detail does make a difference when you stack those up. Speaking of stack, another common concern with our prior pieces were issues with something we refer to as layer stack, specifically around the forearm, where if you had a base layer, a thicker mid layer, and then one of our outerwear jackets, you would get some restriction here in the forearm, kind of wrist to elbow. And we wanted to address that because not only can that be uncomfortable when you're just sitting, but specifically when you're drawing back with a bow, there can be some restriction there that just doesn't help. So came up with a simple new system to relieve that with 3 different levels of security in the wrist. You can have fully open, you can have a silent snap here, silent snap number 1, silent snap number 2. Again, provides you with the right fit at the wrist up through the forearm, depending on your size, and again, relieves that restriction when you're sitting and or drawing. But stepping back a little bit from the feature sets, the fabric packages really do stand out for me. Again, with the Phase, you have the quietest, most windproof soft shell we've ever developed. When it comes to the core and the thermic, we now have Primaloft Gold insulation. This is incredibly warm, but much more packable. So the warmth to weight ratio is off the charts. And then when you look at the thermic, not only do you have that Primaloft Gold, but that sucker is burly. There's high loft fleece that is downright cozy. You know, I think that when I look at this new system, the thing that stands out is that First Lite now has a set of Whitetail gear that kind of utilizes the same philosophy that I have and many other diehard deer hunters have when it comes to how we actually hunt. You know, as a deer hunter, there's a lot of little 1% improvements you can make that many people overlook or don't have time for. But the people that do, the people that stack this 1% and that 1%, well, you do that enough, all of a sudden you're 10%, 15%, 20% more likely to have success. That's what I think about every day as a deer hunter, and that's what First Lite has done with this brand new Whitetail system.